Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Billy Luke. I'm coming live to come and share with you the intended agenda of the PPCA, Public Disobedience and Disturbance. So this is what the topic is all about. So for those of you who have just tuned in, you are publicly invited to come and interact with me on this particular topic, in case you may have the interest to come and share your respective opinion pertaining to this particular topic. So help me share the video, and we will actually start our conversation. So thank you very much for sharing the video and for subscribing to our channel as well. It will be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. While I will be waiting for the guests, I'm waiting for one of the guests that is invited, and he will be here very shortly. So help me share the video. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the main topic is about the PPCA, Public Disobedience and Disturbance. What that means is the public protest that is meant to be violent. And how violent is it? It is violent because it is actually, it is a direct interaction. It is a public right. So when people go out there for public right, it is considered a public disobedience. It is considered a public disturbance. And at the same time, this is an insurrection. An insurrection is actually unlawful. It is unconstitutional. And it is actually meant to topple the government of South Sudan. So what I will be doing in this particular program, I will be critically analyzing the dynamic or potential impact of this proposed protest. So I thought I should actually look for someone that can join me from the other opposite side. And what I mean by that is, if you know yourself, you are an opposition and you are for this public disobedience or public disturbance proposed by the PCCA, then I would challenge you to join me in the studio so that you can be able to contrast my personal position as well as Billy Luke. And all of you are aware of my position anyway, so I will be repeating myself. So we have to be very critical in the way we analyze this particular topic. There are consequences to it for those who argue for and there are disadvantages. There are advantages to it for those who are actually for this protest. They think it is the right thing, but this is not. It's not the right thing for me to support. So please do not shy away or do not hesitate to join me in the studio so that we can go one-on-one on this particular topic. So while I'm waiting for the guests, let's continue to play the music for now. Before I start the dialogues, the conversation of analyzing this critical topic. So this program is actually meant to educate and to create awareness about this upcoming protest. We are not sure whether it is going to materialize on the ground or not. We are not sure, but given the public survey or public statistic we have already assessed it so far, we are confident this protest is not going to be impactful. It's not going to turn out as it could be affected by the social media activists who are actually calling for the popular protests, popular uprising against the national unity government. I can see the probability of this popular protest is actually losing ground so far, given the fact that we have used the power of the media advocacy to actually debunk and rebuttal all these claims. And the reason why I'm coming live is to continue to educate and to create awareness to our general publics on the ground so that they should actually abstain from this popular uprising being advocated by the ringleaders. By the ringleaders who are not going to be present on the street with you. And so this is why it is very important to continue to educate those who may be misinformed, so that they should be able to understand the consequences, the underlying consequences, the dynamic circumstances on the ground as we speak. And we will be examining this from respective constituencies, based on regional basis, and where the hot spot may be, according to the survey we have made so far on social media. We don't know how they're going to turn out. We have read some of the papers out there, plotting in social media about the town or the areas where they're going to turn out and take to the street. We will see. But I'm very confident in the area where I come from, it is not going to happen. It will be a zero turnout for my constituencies because we have already educated them since this proposed protest came into public arena on social media, and we were very agile and quick enough to educate our public on the ground because they watch our channel and they understand the message very clearly. Particularly in the area of Greater Afana region, we have some of the military generals who are actually waiting to launch military offensive at any given time, at any given moment, at the time of choosing. We don't know when, but according to the intelligence, we know so far that these so-called protesters on the ground with the social media activists are actually coordinating these protests in coordination with the rebel in the surrounding areas across South Sudan. Particularly in the case of Afanal as a region, we have the rebel of Gerald Garwidwal, we have the rebel of Gerald Mabordol, we have the rebel of Gerald Johnson Wuling. In Greater Apana region, they are threatening the security of the civil population in this particular region. So their intention is that they are against the peace agreement, and so they intend to launch military offensive. They have become a new movement that is now waiting to launch military offensive. And so their military offensive is alleged to be coordinated with this proposed national public arrest. So this public arrest is going to cause public disobedience, public disturbance in the areas of Greater Upper Nile in particular. And that is when the rebels that are now waiting in the surrounding areas to actually launch military offensive simultaneously in attacking those particular towns. Particularly the town of Reng is actually being mentioned to be target. The town of Maluth, the town of Faloj, the town of Malakal. These main towns are government strongholds. But at the same time, they have the IDPs in this respective major town in the Upper Nile state. And the intention of this military general, who are against the revitalized peace agreement, according to the military intelligence we have received from an anonymous source that we do not actually reveal in public, we are being fed with this information that our civil population in Reng, in Malakal, in Faloj, in Malus, they are actually being targeted by the social media activists because most of them have internet access, and so they easily consume a lot of information on social media. So we are using this platform here to inform you that do not come to the street. If you are in Reng, if you are in Paloj, if you are in Malut, if you are in Malakal, do not come to the street because your areas are already under the radar screen of the rebel. So this, if you come to the street, the rebel in the nearby bush are actually standing by to launch their offensive at any given moment. So it depends on the intensity of the protests. So the timing is going to be very critical. So I'm trying to communicate this message to you. Even though I received it from an anonymous source, which we do not reveal, it is very clear on the ground. So we are actually using this platform to inform our general public in this particular state to make sure to stay at home, stay indoor, do not come to the street, because the rebels are actually threatening to launch military offensive. So there is going to be a very strict military curfew in place. The SSPDF will be standing by to make sure they watch the movement of the rebel. So given this national security threat by the rebel groups, that is why we advise our civil population to avoid the street. There's nothing like protests. In addition to that, anyone that took to the street to protest is actually calling for the toppling of the government of South Sudan. The legitimate government that is now recognized by the international community and by the regional community. Therefore, this national unity government is committed to the full implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. So this government of national unity is actually recognized regionally and internationally. And they are committed to the practical implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, to the letter and to the spirit. However, you should understand that there are rebel groups in Greater Upper Nile region who are against the revitalized peace agreement. So the message from the unity government is to urge every single citizen in Greater Upper Nile region to stay indoor, and not to listen to what is being communicated by the social media activists of the opposition and rebel groups. Because this channel that you see advocating for the PCCA to take to the street across South Sudan, these are not just a social media activists. These are the political surrogate. These are the political activists on behalf of all these rebel groups in South Sudan. And they have formed a civil alliance as the supporters of the rebel groups to actually coordinate and facilitate this national disobedience and disturbance across the country. While they are doing this, they are actually coordinating with the military officers in their respective rebel faction across South Sudan to launch military offensive simultaneously, one that public disturbance, public disobedience, public interaction, and riot. When it kick off across South Sudan, and when it get intensified, that is when the military officers within this respective rebel faction will actually issue their military orders, and they will launch military attacks in these major towns. So they will actually take advantage of the chaos that is going to be caused by this public riot. They will take advantage of this situation that is going to be caused by the interaction of the civil unrest. So this is totally extremely very dangerous for your own life as a civilian of South Sudan. So all of you are aware that we also have a rebel. We have a rebel faction across the Equatorian region. The rebel of General Thomas Trillo are also waiting by to launch their military strike. There is a coordination going on between the rebel of General Thomas Trillo and that of Garwidwal, so that they can actually coordinate with this civil population that is going to take to the street to cause public chaos, so that they can actually take advantage. And that is how they can easily be able to topple the government. So this strategy is very clear. This is the mechanism they are using. So this public disobedience is not just going to be a one-day protest or some week protest. They have planned to sit in. That's what they call in English picketing. Picketing is when you go for a protest and you sit in. You stockpile with everything that you need in terms of human necessity, such as food, drinks, medicine. You stockpile, and then you go to the street. You sit in there for a week or for a month, protesting until your demands are met. So the intention of these protesters is to call for the absolute removal of the government and toppling the legitimate government that is recognized internationally and regionally itself is a violation of the Constitution itself. So there's no legality, no constitutionality whatsoever for these organizers of the civil organization who are actually coordinating and facilitating these activities, these illegal activities with the rebel commanders on the ground across South Sudan to launch these kind of protests, when in fact the rebels themselves are threatening to remove the government. The rebels that are waiting in the bush do not recognize the arbitrary peace agreement. Therefore, they are anti-peace and stability. And they are coordinating with these supporters on the social media and those members on the ground to actually launch another civil unrest. And this is another way to remove the government. And this is not going to be acceptable. This is unconstitutional. This is unlawful. And it must have to be met with all force. the government of South Sudan, the government of national unity, is going to use all the available tools and resources to deal with this civil unrest. So in my own opinion, the way I look at it, I don't see any difference between the call for the public instruction or public right. That itself is unconstitutional, it is unlawful, it is illegal, it is illegitimate, and it must have to be rejected. And the law must have to be applied. So when you use that kind of violence, you have no difference with the rebel group that are already carrying arms against the government. Anyone that is against the revitalized peace agreement, you are against the peace and stability. And anyone that threatens the national security of South Sudan have to be dealt with accordingly. Every sovereign state has the right to deal with anyone that violates the law. And you know how any sovereign state can actually apply the rule of law. Enforcing the rule of law is by using any means necessary to deal with anyone that threatens the public obedience, the public peace, the public tranquility, stability, and the peace and order. You have to be crushed. Because this is not a usual protest, as we all know. For instance, let me give you an example of a protest, of a peaceful protest. A peaceful protest is what you have just seen recently in Malut. That was a peaceful protest. Why is it a peaceful protest? And why was it allowed? Because it was a peaceful protest. Why? Because these civilians, they were simply demanding government of South Sudan to take action against those grievances they had presented. And that was legitimate. That was good for civilians to speak against the government when they see something is not going right, particularly in the areas of the oil-producing state. And that message was heard. The demands of this civil population were met. The government promised to actually implement those demands. As we speak, those civilians that took to the street for the last few months, their demands have been heard. And that is the right thing to do as a citizen of South Sudan. When you have an issue, when you have a grievance to address, you have to be disciplined, you have to be a law-abiding citizen, and you must abide by the rule of law. But the reason why this proposed protest is different is because they are simply calling for the removal of the government of South Sudan through violent way. Because if you remove a legitimate government through violence, how do you expect the result to be eventually? I don't think you will be successful. And I don't think that government is actually going to be recognized. The situation is already volatile. It is fragile on the ground, given the fact that national security of South Sudan under this national unity government is already being threatened by bunches of rebels that are still out there in the jungle of South Sudan, threatening the national unity government. And they are against the revitalized peace agreement. We just signed the peace agreement recently. And it is our collective responsibility and obligation. It is our citizenry duty as a citizen of this particular country to make sure we protect the peace agreement, which was signed recently. And the peace partners, the signatory to the revitalized peace agreement, they are working collaboratively, cooperatively, to make sure this peace agreement is implemented to the letter and to the spirit. And that is what they have embarked on as we speak. And that is why we must all stand behind them in absolute solidarity and making sure we stand with them, and let us make sure we support them. This is what is expected of us as a citizen, to safeguard and to uphold the Constitution. This is what we need to do. Exactly, this is the reason why we are actually against this protest, because this protest is not peaceful. First and foremost, the intent, the main intention of this particular protest being proposed by this civil organization, their intention is very clear, and that is to remove the government forcefully. So how do you actually trust this, when in fact this civilian plus those rebels that are against the revitalized peace agreement, their intention is to violate this peace agreement that is already undergoing the implementation? We cannot actually try to sabotage this peace agreement, and then you expect us to go back to square one, and then we start a new peace agreement. This is not going to be acceptable. This is a madness. So this kind of game must stop. Let us actually making sure we implement this peace agreement. And if this peace agreement does not actually get implemented to our expectation and satisfaction, that is when you might cause another public unrest. And your claim may make sense. But given the fact that we are actually undergoing the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, it should be our collective responsibility to make sure we give the peace partners, the signatory to the revitalized peace agreement, the opportunity to make sure they implement this peace agreement. But now most of you are attempting to act prematurely before this peace agreement is even completely implemented. This is a sabotage of the peace agreement. And so this is why this proposed peace agreement, this protest is unlawful. It is not just unlawful according to the South Sudan Constitution. It is unlawful to the region that are granted to the peace agreement. It is unlawful before the international community that is now observing the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. Therefore, they will not recognize your demand for toppling the incumbent national unity government. It will not be legitimate. And the government of South Sudan have the authority to crush anyone that attempt to topple, sabotage the peace agreement, and take over that government by force. It will never be recognized. It will never be recognized. So this is going to be very, very deadly for your own life. Imagine, assume that these protesters are going to be successful. They topple the government. You take over it. Do you expect yourself to be able to be in that seat? I don't think so. Why? Simply because we have so many rebel factions with different ideologies and with its different ambition. So this is going to be a very chaotic situation, which you do not actually see dynamically. So look at this dangerous scenario from a strategic and dynamic perspective. So there is this prospect of a more consequential circumstances which is likely to arise in case these protesters and the rebel manage to topple the government. Look at that scenario strategically, how you judge it. This is how we are analyzing it. So that's the reason why we are actually opposed to these protests, because the consequences are more severe. The consequences are more extreme. Given the tribal tension, given multi ideologies by these respective rebel groups that are based on ethnic and regional basis, all of these rebel groups, they are fighting to get into the seat. So if these protesters succeed to take over the government, you are already awaiting the rebel in the bush to react. They will actually launch military offensive against those civilians, take over the power by force. If you actually succeed to take over this government, the very same government you are going to topple, they have their own powers too. So imagine this kind of scenario. This is what you don't understand as the activists or this surrogate of the rebel groups. This is what you don't understand in the media. You don't look at these consequences, these potential consequences dynamically. And this is why we are saying, no, this is not a good idea. I'm very clear. I understand the frustration, the disappointment, the dissatisfaction of our people is very clear. I have nothing to do with their demands because we are aware of all this. We are aware that our national unity government have not delivered to our people. That is very clear. There's nothing we are disputing about all these demands laid out by the PCCA. But what we are saying is this is a dangerous strategy. This is a dangerous mechanism. We cannot use this kind of model to change the government. Why? Because it is more consequential. The consequences are more severe than you may know. But this is how you have to make sure you analyze this thing critically by examining it. So the underlying situation is more severe. So my friends, it's not easy. Don't compare South Sudan with the other, sovereign nation out there that do the same thing. Those countries are more civilized. Those countries you see taking to the street are nationalists. They are patriotic citizens. There's no tribalism. There's no regionalism in their mind or in their political ideology. But in the case of South Sudan, in the situation of South Sudan, there's nothing like that. South Sudan is not just politically polarized, but it is tribally and regionally polarized. We are miniaturized into so many different groups with different ideologies, with different intention. So given this kind of scenario, ladies and gentlemen, if one group succeeds to take over that seat through violent way, as is proposed in the agenda of the PCCA, it is not going to be stable, but it is going to be more deadly than the current situation in which we are in. How? Because you have to do your strategic analysis of this. Do your own strategic analysis of this. Because we have so many hawks are waiting to take over that presidential seat. Even within the very same government we are speaking right now, there are so many hawks. There are so many potential candidates who are actually hovering around, waiting for that opportunity. So if Salva Kiir Mayardit and Dr. Riek Machar, exit now, and they left the vacuum, you will see everybody scrambling for that position. And the question is, who will be taking over that seat? That is what you fail to analyze. Forget about the grievances. I'm not talking about the grievances. These are legitimate. Our people are desperate. They are dissatisfied. That majority of the people agree, including us, who is actually supporting this national unity government. But the reason why I support this government is the only best option to save more life than you are pushing right now for an insurrection, which is going to cause more life. Sit down a little bit, pause, do your premeditation. I don't know how people actually think strategically. Make your own assessment. What will happen if I do this? Look at the if scenario, situation, circumstances that will arise. This is how we project it. So the potential consequences are more severe than you think. So most of these social media activists that are beating their shares here in the social media, they think they know it all. Yes, we all agree. I keep telling them, we all agree about the grievances being presented by the PCCA. But the question is, the strategy, how you approach this, is not going to work. Instead, it is going to be more deadly. All right? So that's why we have to make sure, let's support the peace agreement. Let's put this peace agreement until it is fully implemented to the letter and to the spirit. And if these peace partners fail to implement it to the spirit and to the letter, that's when you will have the opportunity to start it from square one. But it is already legal. It is already lawful that we do not obligate ourselves to intentionally violate this peace agreement with this kind of protest. We look at this protest as a sabotage a peace agreement. At the same time, this is a contempt to the constitution of our sovereign state of South Sudan. No one nation on earth will actually recognize anyone that took to the street and remove a legitimate government through insurrection or right in a nation where the jungle of our country is swarmed with so many rebels with a different intention. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are pushing for, we are actually appealing to you to be patient and wait until the general election is going to be conducted. That is when you will be actually be able to receive your leadership in a peaceful manner, whereby it is going to be transferred smoothly, without any hassling, without any violent hassling. That is how it should be done. So we are actually looking forward for a peaceful transitioning of the new leadership. And that new leadership is going to be determined by you, the citizen of South Sudan. That's the only way we can be able to change the government. Not violent way. It's not through public arrest. It's not going to work. Don't look at South Sudan from the analogy of what happened in Sudan. Because the Shamal Sudan is more nationalistic. They are more patriotic. They love each other regardless of their tribal background or political affiliation. But unlike you guys, Junubin. You Junubin are ethnically, sectionally, tribally, regionally polarized. What I mean by polarized is it means you are divided. So if you don't actually assess the security situation in South Sudan is more volatile, is more fragile. Some people have grudges against their own neighbors. They want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do this. So imagine such a country where some people just go and make a grouping and then they propose an idea that we are going to topple the government. But they don't look at the threat. They don't look at the dynamic threat. The dynamic threat is that there are so many rebel groups, there are so many politicians within the very same national unity government that are actually standing by, they are hoping around to take over the leadership. This is not about Dr. Riek Machar or about Salva Kiir Mayardit as an individual. So, in my opinion, I believe it is the right thing for His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit and paid by President Dr. Riek Machar, by President James Wanega, by President Rebecca Nyandeng, by President Abdel Baghi, and by President Aban Dengai, to make sure they actually hold this position for now, temporarily, until when the general election is going to be held. And that is where you will be able to exercise your democratic right. Your constitutional right will be exercised by casting your ballot in choosing a right candidate that you will deem appropriate to take your country to the next step. So this is what you should be doing. And in doing so, we are actually trying to say the only way South Sudan will be stable and peaceful is by making sure we transfer the power in a smooth manner. So transitioning the government from one president to the other must have to be done in a smooth way. But if we want to rush it through violent way in such a volatile and fragile situation which we are in, under the insecurity across South Sudan, it will likely be more messy, it will be chaotic, and that is what we want to avoid. We don't want that kind of situation to be provoked with this violent interaction. It's not going to work. So, my friend, I'm urging you that the decision that you have taken upon yourself to push other innocent lives onto the street of South Sudan is going to be more deadly than you think. Hypothetically, I can say this is going to be a genocide. You are actually committing a genocide against our civil population. Because some other tribe, some other region have a grudges against the other. So we know this. This thing is actually appear to be coordinated, but South Sudanese are not united. So the atmosphere itself is not conducive, it's not constructive, even though I know so far most of you have already formed an alliance, but this alliance is fake. You are actually fooling yourself. We know the underlying threat, and these underlying threats are real, and they are very lethal. They are actually endangering the life of our civil population. And that is why we are saying no. No against this peace agreement, this protest. So when we say no, does not mean we are actually defending the leadership of the national unity government. I myself am not happy because nothing has been delivered to our civil population. And I understand, I'm standing behind them. However, I disagree with them when they say this government have to be removed forcefully or violently through gun or through popular arrest. It's unacceptable. That is where I disagree with them. So the only way, ladies and gentlemen, the only way is to go for general election. Other than that, it is up to you to make that determination. Whether you want to risk your life when you are about to go to general election next year, and then you will get your freedom. That's when I will be able to join any civil organization that is going to call for a future popular revolutionary uprising. It is only going to be legitimate and legitimized only when this peace agreement is violated or not implemented to the public expectation. But I believe the peace partners, the signatory to the revitalized peace agreement, are committed, and their commitment can be seen following the successful formation of the national unity government. The parliament is on the move to get down to the business. The ministerial portfolios are getting down to the business. The 5 vice presidents, including the president, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, are now getting to the business. Now it is time for them to get down to the protocol of the revitalized peace agreement, and they are actually implementing them one by one. So we are getting there. So our responsibility as a citizen of South Sudan is now to unite ourselves behind them and support them until the deadline of the general election. That's when you will start campaigning, and then you go for your favorite candidate that you are going to vote for. This is what we need to do. So my position is very clear. We want to see a smooth transitioning of the presidency to the next president that is going to be elected by the South Sudanese when they get that opportunity. That is exactly what we are supporting. We are supporting peace and stability. No matter how disgruntled, no matter how dissatisfied, no matter how unhappy you are in this current situation on the ground or here in diaspora, it is time for us to be patient and to push for peace agreement to be implemented. That's the only way forward. Don't put South Sudan in the image of what happened in Sudan, or what happened in Libya, or what happened in Egypt in the past years. Or let's say you want to copy and paste the idea of the Middle East uprising that you have seen toppling some of the government. Don't even compare yourself with these people, because these people are a little bit more civilized. They are more educated. They were more equipped, and they are actually a real patriotic citizen that love themselves. They have no tribalism threatening their life. They have no regionalism threatening their life. They have no other issues other than political differences. But in the case of South Sudan, ladies and gentlemen, that spirit is not there. That spirit is not there yet. So let us allow these leaders of ours to introduce democratic food screen, whereby they will give us this opportunity on the conduct of the general election. And then from there, you will be able to determine your next president. That is the only way we can get out of this mess. But if you think you are going to remove this government, either through rebellion or either through this public interaction that you are calling for, There is no difference. There's no difference between the rebel and this civil unrest. Their agenda is one, and that is to remove the government forcefully. And removing the government forcefully, when it is a legitimate government, my friend, this is very difficult. Not even one day you will spend in that seat if you succeed. Because the very same government is going to turn around and use all the resources and the tools available at disposal against you. One day you will see another one taking up arms to come and fight you. So this is going to be very messy. Imagine this very used rebel in South Sudan hanging around or hovering around over Juba, trying to become a president. Tomatillo want to become a president. Garwidwal want to become a president. Garwidwal, Maboradol, Johnson Uloy, Paul Malong Awan, all these military generals. Not to mention the politician inside Juba that have the same political ambition to become the president. So this is not about Key. This is not about Riek Machar. You can say Key Mayarit and Riek Machar must go. If they go, it will be more messy than you think. So for me as Billy Look, I would prepare that we have to support these peace partners, let them implement the damn peace agreement. And let's see whether they will actually abide by those peace agreement protocol or not. That's when we will be able to hold them accountable in case they fail to implement the peace to the public expectation. That is the opportunity you must give them. So we will not allow the sabotage of this peace agreement. It's not acceptable. We don't want another peace. Even these rebels who are in the bush, there's no need to have a peace with them either. If I were one of the presidents of this national unity government, I will not even dialogue with you guys. Because we cannot just be in the process of implementing this peace agreement and you want to launch another peace agreement or peace negotiation. This is nonsense. This is why rebellion has become a commercial business, whereby everybody want to be, okay, I will look and go and, go somewhere in my bush, create my small rebel groups, then I declare war. This has become a business. That is why we urge the national unity government, please do not continue to entertain this nonsense. Anyone that is against this peace agreement must have to be dealt with militarily. You like it or not. If you think you can win militarily, so be it. You will take over it. But I'm confident so far, these rebels have been there. They know how hard it is to remove the government violently. You have been crushed militarily. You have been annihilated. None of you didn't succeed. Everything you launch all this rebellion against the government of South Sudan. One thing that I don't like about Salva Kiir Mayardit is the fact that he continued to appease and entertain every single rebel group in South Sudan. I'm sick and tired of this. And this is the reason why rebellion will never stop. The rest of the rebels are already in, and they are now part of the national unity government, implementing this peace agreement. And now there are others going back to the bush to try to launch another rebellion. You cannot rebel within the very same agreement, and then you expect the government to appease you and say, oh, yes, I have to listen to your goddamn demand. And then they're going to go to the negotiation table to listen to your nonsense briefcase ideologies. We do not even subscribe to the demand of the people of South Sudan. Some people have regional intention. Some people have a tribal grudges to settle against the others. Can you imagine if we, all of us, have to take to the bush simply because I have my own grievances, then I have to take up arms? South Sudan will be a shallow ground for all of us. It will be a shallow ground for all of us. And that is exactly the same thing. If anyone thinks that I will allow you to take over the presidential seats through that protest or through that rebellion, you will see me tomorrow become a rebel. And I will shoot you too. So this game is going to be a recycling. This is why we are telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is messy. This is a chaotic strategy that is going to be more devastating to the life and to the property of our people. This is what you don't look critically. This is the underlying circumstances that you fail to see the severe and extreme consequences it bears. So, my friend, I'm not worried about this violence because I know it will be crushed. It is already dead upon arrival. And it will never deliver. Single day, it will never deliver for a single day. Trust me or not. I have said this on this show, but ask me tomorrow why Billy Luke is saying this. I'm confident. And I know who you are dealing with. You are dealing with the wrong people. You are dealing with the freedom fighters. You are dealing with the guerrillas. You hustle with the guerrilla, my friend, there's no rule of law. So why would you affect to send another innocent life on the street when in fact you are not going to be there yourself? I wish most of you who are here on social media, the McDonald's soldiers, as I borrow this term from Ambassador Gordon Boy, put it very clearly to those people who speak from diaspora. We refer to them as McDonald's soldiers. This McDonald battalion on social media, who are actually calling for the removal of the government through violent way and supporting the rebel at the same time, it would be wise thing for them, to avail themselves on the ground so that they can actually lead this protest themselves, so that they can actually face the consequences literally on the ground. But you cannot just advocate for a violent interaction and then you expect it to be successful. I will rather you should understand these people themselves, they care about their basic necessities. They don't even have the privilege to be able to organize themselves for this kind of major agenda. You are pushing against their own life. I am not even sure whether this group, the PCCA, is actually prepared in terms of humanitarian assistance. I'm not sure whether they have actually stockpiled this civilian to go to the street. And what I mean is stockpiling these protesters with the food stuff, like you give them water. Is there going to be a constant supply of water? Is there going to be constant supply of food, constant supply of logistical, barriers? My friend, you should think that this is not easy. It's not easy. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure whether they are actually sending money to these people in their respective areas where they are actually communicating with them. I have no idea. This is up to the national security to examine that and to know where the communication is, where the finance is flowing to, who is receiving this money, and in which location, and the logistics on the ground. So I don't see the sustainability of this proposed protest. That's why I say this protest is actually dead upon arrival. So this message to the McDonald battalion on social media, you know yourself, because you are the public surrogate and activists of the rebel group on the ground. You did your best. But I have to be honest with you. I totally agree with all the grievances you have presented. I totally agree with you. The national unity government have failed to deliver. That is the fact. But I support this unity government. Why? Because I'm simply supporting peace, stability, tranquility. I want to see this stability and peace. Because we have to support this peace agreement, implement it until all these protocols are exhausted. And then from there, I believe you have the opportunity to remove your government through fair and free democratic election. And that is what we are betting on. I'm willing to look for a new face, because I believe all these peace partners, all these signatories to the peace agreement, they have failed to deliver. And that is a fact. I don't disagree with you as the opposition. But we need the smooth transitioning of the presidency. We don't want it to be transferred in such a messy and chaotic approach. It's not going to work. Why is it not going to work? It is going to be more deadly. It is more dangerous to the life and the property of our people. That is why I disagree with you. You understand me, ladies and gentlemen? I think that message is very clear. I believe it will resonate with those people who have the sense of intelligence, who have the sense of smartness, who have the sense of brilliance, who have the sense of consciousness. If you have that consciousness in you, you should be able to understand this is about serving life. This is not about defending the national unity government of Sudan, of South Sudan. This is about preventing more deaths. We are actually trying to mitigate what will be more consequential to our people. That is my concern. I'm not afraid to say it in the face of this five-eye president, including His Excellency, that you have failed to deliver to the people of South Sudan. But I do not support any violent way of removing them. I do not support the sabotaging of the revitalized peace agreement. I'm not a big fan of this revitalized peace agreement, but it has to be implemented, because it has, even though I understand it has been signed in the wrong way, we do not even resonate with my interests or to the satisfaction of Junubin, because we believe this peace agreement was all signed about, it was all about position. That's why you see a big parliament of South Sudan. The Transitional National Legislative Assembly of South Sudan is being broadened, is being expanded to make it a big parliament. Why? Because it was about establishing more position. So those opposition can actually have a room to be accommodated in the parliamentary assembly, just to give them job opportunity. The same thing, just like the presidency has been shared. The position of the presidency has been shared. That's why we have five-by president, which had never been heard before. It was all about the position. That is very clear. You look at the ministerial forces as well. They have been divided among themselves. It was all about position. So all of us, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I sympathize with you. I sympathize with all the demands put forward by the PCCA. That these peace partners, they have failed to deliver. That is a fact. They have been in power for a very long time. They failed to deliver, despite the fact that South Sudan is such a rich country, such a resourceful country, with all the available wealth in place. But all these wealth disappear into their respective pockets. We all understand that. They failed to deliver in terms of infrastructural development. in terms of services to our people. So, my dear people, my dear fellow South Sudanese people, I understand. I understand your dissatisfaction. I understand your grievances. I am totally in solidarity with you. However, my disagreement is the methodology of changing the leadership. It's not correct. And why is it not correct? It's because it is more deadly. It is a lethal strategy that is going to be more consequential than you think. Why? Because we have so many politicians, so many warlords in our country that are waiting to scramble for the very same seat. So if this civil unrest succeed to take over that seat on that particular day, tomorrow you will see the other warlord launching attack on you, take that seat. So it will be a cycle of violence. This is what you don't see. So imagine how many lives is going to be lost in a day, fighting death and force. You are not going to be successful, my friend. Even within the very same SSPDF that you think you can trust to provide safety and security to you, they have some military generals that have the same ambition too. If they see so and so is taking over the leadership, you will see them rebel tomorrow. They will shoot each other. So it becomes a very chaotic situation. This is what we are avoiding. Some of you are too, have a shallow mindset, or they have a shortcoming. They don't look at things strategically. Dynamically speaking, you do not see the underlying consequences of it. All you are good at, Kir must go, Riek Machar must go, or whoever is in power must go. But you don't look at the consequences critically. So this is very clear. So whoever is actually going to send other innocent lives to take to the street, you will be responsible for your own life. None of us here is not going to dictate any one decision. Whatever you deem appropriate in your own opinion will be treated accordingly. But all I know is there are consequences awaiting you. You are simply going to sacrifice yourself. You are going to become a sacrificial lamb for what you will not even benefit. So don't just listen to this McDonald battalion in diaspora who have the privilege, to speak their mind advocating for this violence, when in fact they will not be there on the ground. And to make the matters worse, they are not going to support you economically or financially. That's why I was asking a question earlier, whether these organizers in diaspora, including those who are on the ground, as we know so far, they are on the run and they are hiding somewhere, safely, as I may suspect where they may be hiding. But for security reasons, there's no need to reveal the respective location. The question is whether these individuals themselves are going to provide humanitarian assistance. Are they prepared? Are they ready to provide emergency response in case of something that is going to happen to this innocent life on the street? Are you prepared in terms of humanitarian response, such as in terms of provision of water to these innocent people you are going to send in the wrong way? Are you prepared to provide them medical supply to sustain any injured or whatever may happen to them? Maybe in case someone collapses. This is what I refer to, whether you have actually stockpiled them in terms of humanitarian needs. So how prepared are you? And this is a question you ought to ask yourself too, as a citizen of South Sudan on the ground, whether you intend to put yourself in such a risky way. Well, it is only in other civilized well-sustainable economic nation on earth. That's where you can be able to organize the protests while everything is ready. You stockpile, you know. So, my friend, this is very dangerous for you. And this is my advice to you as my fellow South Sudanese on the ground in South Sudan. Do not even waste your goddamn time coming to the street and say, oh, I got support. I know there are some who are getting few dollars from this McDonald battalion in diaspora or on social media, thinking that they will deliver. They will not. As I know so far, you are going to be crushed militarily because this is unconstitutional, it is unlawful, and it will never be entertained. It is also a threat to the peace agreement that is already undergoing implementation. The international community and the regional observers who are granted to the peace agreement, they will not recognize your damn protests. So please, abstain from it. From my constituencies, particularly the areas of Jiang Padang, as I know so far, I know the McDonald battalion, which are a rebel group there, they have already tried to appeal to you, given your recent grievances pertaining to the environmental pollution. I think it was last 2 months or 3 months that you launched a popular protest of which you were actually heard. There is nowhere in South Sudan you see any citizen coming out publicly and take to the street and be respected. But I'm very proud to be a son of Jiang Padang. Why? Because you are respected by the government of South Sudan. And you know why? Because you are law-abiding citizen. You are a peace-loving citizen. And I believe your demands were legitimate and government trusts in you. So there is no any other political constituencies that are more trustworthy than the Jiang Padang constituencies. And I am very grateful and thankful to the government of South Sudan for having listened to the Jiang Padang demand. And now the government, the government of national unity of South Sudan is now undergoing the implementation of those demands by the people of Jiang Padang who are in the oil producing area. The environment is actually undergoing sanitation by the government of South Sudan by making sure that the oil operating companies in these oil producing areas, making sure the oil residue, this toxic chemical must have to be disposed in a responsible manner. That is what the government has declared. So that means there is an assurance that the government have actually issued an order to the oil operating companies and the shareholders to strictly ensure that this policy is implemented to protect the environment from further escalation of the pollution, to protect the environmental degradation by the oil pollution. So the government is actually going to meet your demand as per our expectation, and that is going to be happen. You also demand about the improvement of your health centers. So the quality of the health centers in the oil producing area is actually going under renovation. The government is actually supplying more medicine and improving the health condition on the ground in the respective oil producing area. We have also seen the promise of the government is actually improving the quality of the education on the ground. More teachers are going to be provided. And our children in these areas are going to go to school. We have also seen the government increasing activities of improving the water supplies, making sure that our people do not actually drink from the open water sources. They are making sure that all these boreholes are actually drilled so that you can actually be able to drink from the chlorinated water that is treated, so that you do not continue to get toxic water that is sitting on the surface of the ground, which is more exposed to the oil pollution. So the government is actually keeping its promises to the people of Jiang Padang in particular. So I think let these opposition groups that are advocating for the violence, let them not use you. This is a message particular to the Jiang Padang. The government is going to keep its promises. The electricity that is being generated around the oil producing area is going to be connected to your respective town, to your respective villages. That's why you see there is a Kaaba almost everywhere. Who have such kind of privilege in South Sudan? It is only in Jiang Padang that you find there is the Kaaba just in an open area. No. So only Jiang Padang civil population have access to power source in terms of electricity. So if you want electricity to be connected as demanded in the recent protests, it is going to be connected to your house, provided it is a modern house, because it's not safe to operate the electricity in a thatched house or a grass-built houses. It's dangerous because some of you may actually get electrocuted or electrocution. That means you can get death through electricity, which is very dangerous because this electricity wire are more naked and can easily be exposed. They can easily catch fire, So we need a little bit of modern houses so that we can actually wire this insulated wire with our electricity to avoid more deaths. We have been receiving a report of people getting deaths from this electrocution. So electrocution is actually very dangerous, and that's why we should not advise all these grass houses have to be connected with electricity. It's very dangerous. So, ladies and gentlemen, this message is particularly going to the areas of Jiang Padang or to the Jiang Padang constituencies in particular. You have the privilege to electricity. Government is actually connecting electricity to your major towns, and you will also be able to have access to power supply. Like you will be able to have a source of power where you can charge your phone, you have access to internet, These privileges are not anywhere in South Sudan, but only in Jiang Padang area mainly. The government is actually going to improve your quality of education by hiring more qualified teachers, buying more books. So our children will be going to school. The health centers are going to be a stockpile with all these medicine that you need. The environment is going to be sanitized. So the sanitization of the environment, given the environmental degradation and pollution, is going to improve. But even though it will take time. So the government is actually working on those promises of which you took to the street. So the reason why I'm trying to lay out this, because we are actually following up whether the government is actually implementing these promises or not. So I'm trying to educate my constituencies of Jiang Padang so that they have to be aware whether we are actually following up with the promises made by the government following the recent protests in the areas of Gieng Padang. That is true. The government have made it clear that I have listened to your grievances, they have to be implemented. And if they do not implement them, then we will still take back to the street and say, no, you are lying to us, do it. The government trusts us. So the recent protest was the second protest. I remember, because given the fact that I'm one of the co-authors of Gieng Padang Media, I follow up a lot of stuff going on the ground. And we get informed too, directly from our civil organizers. So this is the kind of peaceful protest that we want to see. That's why you see Gieng Padang people are respected by the government, because they are law-abiding people, they are peace-loving people. We can take pride. We can pride about ourselves, being lawful and peaceful people. And that's why the government of South Sudan listen to us when we take to the street. Unlike other constituencies, if you take to the street, they will talk about removal of the government. That's not what Gieng Padang is demanding. So we are not threat to nobody, but we only demand our grievances to be addressed. That is exactly what our constituencies do. Be a lawful citizen, be a peaceful citizen. That's who we are. That's why you don't see Gieng Padang joining rebellion anyhow, like other tribes do in South Sudan, because we are law-abiding people. So our records at Gieng Padang are known nationally. Even during Garang Mobile, under the leadership of Garang Mobile, we never rebelled. Vast majority of us remain with the revolutionary movement until the last minute. The same thing we will continue to remain with His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit until when Junubin remove him through a democratic, fair, and free election. That is what we envision to do. That means we are actually looking for a smooth transitioning of the government of South Sudan. That is what needs to be done, not violent. That's why you see Gieng Padang always reluctant not to join any damn rebellion in South Sudan. And it is very rare for us, a Gieng Padang military general or politician, to rebel, because they are guided by the public opinion of Gieng Padang. And we are part of the political bloc, political constituencies to be reckoned with. So I don't see anyone in Gieng Padang area that is going to take to the street. I will look forward to see what will be your justification for going to the street. For what? I don't see it. I would like to see other people come out there in the social media and talk about their respective constituencies, because they know their public opinion. They can go and survey it statistically, hypothetically, they can go do it, and then they can come and present it to us. So I'm trying to give you an assurance as Junubin, Mugjurin, that you will not see a single person, not even an animal, coming to the street and say, I'm going to protest. I'm going to protest for the removal of the National Unity Government. It will never be in the areas of Gieng Padang. That's what I know so far. If there is any single animal for areas of Gieng Padang, then it will be somewhere else. Some people who will be gotten carried away by their own friends from other constituencies. Like in Gieng Padang, you will not see a protest going on. That's why this message is going to you directly. At Gieng Padang, I know Pirang town, it is diversified, it's mixed. So if you see anyone tomorrow on the street, Pirang town, that means that person is not Gieng Padang. Because Rang is actually a metropolitan center that is diversified, linguistic town, multilinguistic. So multicultural areas like Rang area, if you see anyone on the street tomorrow, then I know, even though it is a indigenous land of Jengfada, there are so many other tribes in that town. So if you see anyone tomorrow on the street, please recognize that person as a different person, not Jengfada. Because there is no reason whatsoever for Jengfada to take to the street. The grievances that were already presented by Jengfada are already heard by the government of South Sudan. They are now being implemented. That's why you don't see Jengfada complaining about anything to do with removal of the government. So I'm challenging you, ladies and gentlemen, if you come from your respective constituencies, you need to present to us in social media, why do you think your people are going to take to the streets? So I know Parian, I don't see, you will not even see an animal, let alone a human. An animal will not be on the street on that day. I have seen them mentioning Fariang there. Reng has been mentioned. Paloj and Malut have been mentioned. Malakal has been mentioned. But I can see, yes, Malakal is also a multilinguistic, multicultural, town. So if you also see somebody tomorrow taking to the street in Malakal, that's not Jiang Padang. And if you are Jiang Padang and you take to the street, you are doing it at your own risk. We have already advised you. There's no reason whatsoever for you to take to the street. If there are those people who want to endanger their life, let them do it. You will be responsible for your own life. Like I said earlier, the rebels are standing by to launch a military offensive simultaneously as this protest is going to intensify. So something is being coordinated with the rebel. So that's why we are questioning you. This is very dangerous for your own life, for your own property. So stay indoor. Do not waste your goddamn time going to the street and expect kumbaya. There's no kumbaya on the street, my friend. All right? So let those of Comrade Abraham Wallich, let them come on the street and let them see, let us see them on the street with these people they are actually organizing. You cannot just go underground and then pretend like, okay, you are a leader. How dare would you go into a hiding? If you are a real leader, being a leader, you have to lead in the front so that people, your followers, can actually follow you. That's what the real leadership is all about. You cannot claim to be a leader when you run underground. You cannot operate underground and then you call yourself a leader of the PCCA. This is very unfortunate. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have exhausted my monologues. This is an individual analysis. I think I have done it very comprehensively, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my ability, as I perceive it. And this is the reason why I'm strongly opposed to this violent rights. Insurrection itself is unconstitutional, it is unlawful, it has to be condemned, and it has to be punished. Anything that is unconstitutional or unlawful is punishable by the law. So do not blame the government of South Sudan later on when they apprehend these violent riders who are calling for the removal of the government. Do not be surprised when they are actually being apprehended and handled. All right? So our device as the social media activists, political activists, is to give you the right information you can use to benefit yourself, particularly if you are on the ground in South Sudan. So our media do not dictate anybody's rights, but we have to use the best knowledge available to share with you and to help yourself. But if you don't want to take a advice from us, it's up to you. That's what democracy is. So we live in civilized countries. We are democratically inclined. So we respect each and every individual rights. Even if you are my own brother and you're not listening to me, or if you are my sister and you're not listening to me, I will not care. If you risk your own life, that is going to be your own choice. And if I see you on the street tomorrow, I will say, damn it, because I did give you the advice. And if you think this is a revolution that you want to risk your own life and become a sacrificial lamb for what you will not benefit, that is you choose your own destiny at will. And it has to be respect. So I think I have made my argument, and I was actually challenging any opposition supporter. Any battalion with a McDonald's soldiers on the street here on Facebook, I thought I was looking for you guys. Because I like debate. And I don't run away from any opponent. And if I run away from you, it will mean I acknowledge the defeat, and it will mean I have nothing to offer to afford any of that particular topic. So that's why Billy Luke is always ready to debate anyone. Unlike other shows that are always one-sided, because they like to entertain one side and they don't like to be contrasted, like somebody on the other opposite side can come and say, oh no, that's not the way it is supposed to be. The other one have to argue for it, the other one have to argue against it. That's what makes it to be a fair dialogue among South Sudanese. And this is how you can be able to reach a consensus among yourself. But the way South Sudanese operate on social media, they like to discriminate. Most of the activists are actually being discriminative. And what I mean by that, they like to discriminate the other opposing opinion. They don't like to debate. And that's why I consider them like a coward. Not just only are they coward, but it means they have no validity to defend their argument. That's why I make my platform available to anyone. And I don't discriminate you. I don't care about your tribe. I don't care about your region. I don't care about your party. I don't even care about your religion. As long as you come here, defend your position, be reasonable. Be logical in the way you defend your stand or your argument, your position, and you will be taken as a winner. But if you fail to defend it, it's not when you just sit in your own channel or your own studio or live video, and then you only just being selected. You just want to invite those who resonate with your position. There's no check and balance. So where there's no check and balance, there is always a suspicion. There is always dishonesty. There is always something being hidden. There is always deception there. And that's what I know about the show with Edward. Sometimes even those of Young Core, they don't like to invite people like who are opposed to their ideas. So that means they are covering up something. And this is me, Billy Luke. I don't cover anything. You want to join me in my show, I'm always available. But I know some of you will go underground because they know you're not going to handle it. It means you have nothing truthful to present. Then some of you will go around and say, oh, so and so is a tribalist. The only defensive way against Billy Luke is only to brand Billy Luke and say, okay, Billy Luke is a tribalist. So that you have to win the mind of those who are actually, so that they can look at me negatively, which I know. I can people around you in many ways. I don't even need to prepare myself to come and debate you. I'm always logical. I flow with the topic at a given hand. It doesn't matter to me, whatever topic. But if I know you are telling the truth, I will say I agree with you. And that's why I have been very candid. I have been very frank with you that I agree with the demand of the PPCA. These are facts. Our people have not received any developmental infrastructure. They have not received any public service from our government ever since then up to now. So I strongly believe, and I agree with you, Kulu Junubin, I agree with you, to be honest, that our government have failed to deliver. But I simply do disagree with you in the methodology of removing the government through violent way. It's not the best answer. I believe in democracy, and I believe it is only through free, fair, and democratic election that we can be able to remove the incumbent national unity government. And the reason why I support that is because I want to see the smooth transition of the leadership to the next president that you are going to elect. That is the only way we can encourage the conducive environment that is healthy and that is constructive to the spirit of democracy. So that when that particular person you are going to elect as your president, as Junubi, that president you are going to elect will be respected as a publicly elected leader that is given the full mandate, full constitutional mandate by the people of South Sudan. When that particular person you are going to elect as your president, and that president will be recognized by the Constitution. That's when the National Army, the SSPDF, will recognize that president, because we will recognize that president as being given the mandate by the citizen. And that is the president that is to be defended by the National Army in case anyone else want to remove him by force. Because people's mandates must be respected. That's what democracy is. So National Army of South Sudan, don't expect National Army of South Sudan to take side with you. Never. They will not. I have seen some of you trying to use some simple campaign slogan, such as the issues of salary and all that. I understand they do not get their salary. That's a fact. But they understand the dynamic situation we have already revealed to you so far. The dynamic, the potential dangers, underlying threat of removing the government violently is going to be more deadly. Why is it deadly? Because if the other group succeed to topple the government, the other group will want to take from it. So it will become a cycle of violence after violence after violence until everyone is exhausted. And in that exhaustion, it will mean losing life, losing property. Life wasted, property wasted, resources wasted. Until your national unity is depleted, somebody else will swoop in and take over the power. We don't want to see that scenario. I know some of you want to commit what we call self-destruction. That's what you want to commit, just for the sake of doing it, so that you do outside people a favor, so they can actually take over the government. This is not going to happen under the watch of the real patriot. I will not sit by as well. That's when I will join the rebel officially. If anyone takes this leadership by force, you will see me become a rebel too. Because I will say, no, I don't recognize you. You take it by force, I become a rebel. That's why we keep urging His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit not to continue to appease this kind of behavior. Because the moment we all adopted this kind of behavior, it will be very, very, very dangerous to South Sudan. And South Sudan will be a shallow ground for all of us to become a rebel at once. Only some few people are entertaining rebellion every now and then. And it has become a commercial business for them. That's why some of them get higher ranks. And then they come and dominate the SSPDF. They come and get more salary than the rest of the average junta with SSPDF. Some people come, if you become a politician, you find yourself in a position that where you are not even supposed to be, despite the fact that you do not have the qualification whatsoever. It is exactly what you have seen in the Transitional National Legislative Assembly of South Sudan. It is what you have seen in the national ministerial portfolio, like in the case of the Ministry of Health with our mother, who do not even speak English, you know. He doesn't even have the experience, you know, how to deal with the health issues. This is very sad situation, right? So this came as a result of accommodation, not really qualification. Very sad. Kwa Junubin, I'm tired. I don't know if there is anyone who want to join. I wasn't reading comment, guys. Sorry. Many Gabriel, I don't know whether you are still watching. I wish I should have actually invited you. And I was actually waiting for one of the special guests. Unfortunately, I don't know why he didn't show up. And the joke of going to la temo who can suppose when ban show it. You go to a link unte kango ga ki the light. Link at in your inbox. Now we can buy cheer openly, got buy cheer. So I did send you the link. The joke. That's why I've been waiting for you. Can book alive. Okay. I've seen a lot of people. Man. Suppose my sister quite book Charlie and book can book your very. Qua we quite one die cái way giếng có đàng lại là tính tông giếng bên với chắc mót can be the look cha la chắc phải piao hoặc là chắc show le one kunich pin cái quả cầu này good night as you can see cái jam mình tin cái clear cái bule là yên chỉ là lo chana because a protest propose cái protest chỉ kêu cái coi cái nhắc ghét cái trò nhắc ghét em man bi coi lo chanam in ke kol bi gorod jor ko bi ko moch kwa nga ko kore ne man cha no moch nga we gene kore ne moch iran ko bi ran ne moch ne kwa kenen ke chire bol ki coordinate kwa ya ke kinge ke jam social media yu le in rebel protest the law ku kuma bo woni re ke ga chet ki rebel abi wujum de na big lo ye kol bi ko lo chanam kol be gen yo ting madara de chik dam cha chan kene kol bi tal gam moji to confuse the situation and to take advantage of the situation kene no yo we lim ko ye ko to on the ground ayira dun rotel chana achana mo rebel ko mo jenyu kuma ku yin ki yam moton gane ki ran ka yo rebel we jam le mu kuma lu mu ku rebel ati ko situation abelia kuna la government ne tin ya ki ye ke chen man chen yo re kyo ke rebel ma ka chi bulu e nga ka bin yo ro kana ti dan di ro kana so we don ro ta ne am we ene ne ye kula we stay indoor a chin ke le ne ka de ra lo cha pa nun te ke je rebel nyal ke ku kuma rebel un chen le le ne chi ku je do chi tan lui ka tin man kai wan je chen ta ne do kai ke ga wi bu ke je fursa bu ko je ke big do big implement call bi election den yo lo wadan na ba gelo kwa ban du ayi ne ali da ke peace partner ka ba be woni ban be ran di be ba a cha ne kin gidi ki go cha ke ne kai chu ke deny lakin go jolo le yen to won lo ke yen ke ne che jolo that is strategy au gen lo le yen o kuma bo woni riel a yo ko chibulu ale de ko je jam ba ke je lin yen en che nam jam ne to yeah, Chol, I didn't expect nobody to join me. I was only having a special guest. Where guest can that to key information key joke email. I mean, inbox day to get a to again. Yeah, Queen, yeah, right click for key joke. So I have actually exhausted my point. I think this doesn't require an intensive knowledge to have a knowledge about the intent of the PPCA. We do not need to know the real ideologies or the agenda behind that. The agenda is very clear. Simply, the reason why they want to take to the street is to remove the government through violent ways. That's why we are saying we are disagreeing that moving the government through violent way or through this public unrest is totally unacceptable and it will never be entertained. That is my position. That is the position of most patriotic nationalists I know. Some of you do actually accuse me all the time that Billy Luke is the beneficiary of the government of South Sudan. This is not true. I have never gotten a penny sack. Nor had I ever been to South Sudan. I'm here. I don't rely on my money. Like I'm talking now on social media, and at the same time, I'm going to work soon. So this is just a commitment, just to make sure we keep our public citizens informed. Well, I just sent the links for anyone who want to join. Simply click the link. Click the link, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, I'm getting out of here. Let me take a break.
الشعب كله يا ربي أنا بسلام بلموت ساكت سمنا عشان القبلية بلموت ساكت سمنا عشان الكوربشن
Ladies and gentlemen, just listen to the song. Be entertained. Comrade Min Gabriel, I send you the link already.
ننسى مشاكل في البلاد نجنون ننسى قبلية في البلاد ننسى مشاكل في البلاد نجنون ننسى قبلية في البلاد أبونا بقولكم طول الليل يا ربي أبدا سلام الشعب كلكم طول الليل يا ربي أبدا سلام بلموت ساكت سمنا عشان القبلية بلموت ساكت سمنا عشان الكوربشن.
Hello, welcome, Comrade Min. How are you? Good morning to you from Juba, South Sudan. Comrade Min, can you hear me? I guess you are froze. Hello?
Yeah, Melo, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, are you
I
good?
can see you, but I don't see your... I didn't hear you, but I can hear you now. Yep.
Yes, how are you, Melo?
I'm good.
I'm good, my brother. Yes, how are you? So thank you very much. Thank you very much for condemning these people, the so-called PCCA. So what they are doing, by the way, is not healthy to our people. They're just making noise here. They don't know that the reason why we just come here to talk with them and respond them logically and well articulated on social media is for them to know that what they are doing is not healthy to our peoples. And it's not even making sense. What they are doing currently is not making sense. So these people, the group of the People Coalition for the Civil Action and the United Citizen for Change and the Red Card Movement and the National People Movement. These are the misplaced terms. All this time, they are misplaced. They are not the name. These are the name of the disgruntled peoples and the desperate people who want to see themselves in the mirror, like the way they usually talk. Now, there is nothing like that guy called the popular uprising in the country. Since there is a COVID-19, we will not allow, as a government, we will not allow any group of 10 or 15 people to move together. Because the life of these people is our concern and is a major concern of the SPLM and the leadership of the country. We will not allow them. Yesterday, the government and the COVID-19 task force they announced the current. After at 10 p.m., there will be nobody is allowed to vote randomly. Since they don't know themselves, they must be lectured. Yes. And this group of the people, those of the Abraham Mauli and the rest, plus some Facebook activists and the Facebook warriors, let them come. Plus the concerned citizen. Are you concerned? Are they concerned citizen or which citizen? Which citizen are they talking about? They have their personal citizen or these citizens which are here in the country. The people of South Sudan here are convened with this peace agreement, and is the only way is the only roadmap to the peace, to the final stability of our country. Whoever think that he or she need peace, let him or her rally behind this peace. This is the only, like, others rubbish and the nonsense, they are not working. They are not working and they were not working. And whoever is thinking that this peace is not working, you just come. You come with your peace instead of coming with a violence or what. That is why I told you last time, these people, they are lacking. They don't have ideas. They have nothing to say. They have nothing to say. Completely. And they are not the concerned people. These are the people who have a hidden agenda. Like the way of last time you stated clearly that these people, they are working the political side of all the rebels who are still in the bush. And we will not allow them as a government. We will not allow them as a government because we know that the currency of the business is a currency and the currency of the government is a power. And we have power now here. What are they talking about? They are talking nonsense. If they have a power, let them come. If they say also they want to register the political parties, because all these proclaim civic society, they are not registered. They are now operating as illegal. So how can you accept this one illegal person who have an illegal organization to even negotiate with you? Leave about reaching up to the extent of calling for the general demonstration. Let them register. We need them to register the civic society organization, and if they want to talk to us as a government, let them come and talk to us. And instead of calling for this popular uprising, we condemn them. We condemn them, and we will continue condemning them. So thank you very much. What they are doing, they disobeyed, by the way. That is disobedient. They are disturbing the government, and to make matter worse, they launched the war against the psychological status of the people of South Sudan. All of them, they will be held accountable for what they did. That one is a crime alone. Is a crime. So you are welcome, Biluk.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Comrade Min, for your wonderful opposition to the so-called PPC organized popular arrest. As I have stated very clearly earlier, this is unlawful, this is unconstitutional, because it is actually against the peace agreement, which is now undergoing practical implementation by the government of the national unity. Therefore, the intention of the rebel groups and their supporters on social media who have actually organized or proposed this popular arrest, their intention is very clear, and that is to remove the government. This government is a legitimate and constitutional government that is recognized by the regional state, is recognized by the international community, and they are recognized because they are also implementing a peace which was just signed recently. Now the government is completely formed. Now they are getting down to the business to implement all the revitalized peace agreement protocol. So our national government is on the right track in implementing the peace agreement. Therefore, we cannot allow any rebel groups or any disobedient or disturbing civil unrest to sabotage this peace agreement and to violate the Constitution. That is why it is our collective responsibility and obligation as the citizens of South Sudan to make sure we safeguard, uphold, and protect and defend the Constitution and to protect and defend this peace agreement. This is exactly what we are doing. So the main purpose of this program is to make sure we educate our general public that this is dangerous for your life, because this individual or this civil organization that are calling for popular arrest and calling for the removal of the government, calling for the removal of the government in an unconstitutional way, can never be recognized. It is unlawful. It is illegitimate. In addition to that, this is a sabotage of the peace agreement, and we will not allow that. So anybody who is actually violating the Constitution, violating the rule of law, will be dealt with by the rule of law. So how do you deal with someone who is committing crime? You know how it is actually interpreted in the Constitution.
You see,
so this is what we are doing here. So thank you very much for being opposed to the PCCA proposal to call for the removal of the government. This is unacceptable. Thank you.
I'm now in Juba. So, and the people of South Sudan who are here, particularly now in Juba, more than what they are doing is not healthy for the people. Even the white people themselves, you know, this international community, they will have a problem with you if you are fighting. But if you are in the peace agreement, they will not have any problem with you. What they will tell you is just to implement the peace agreement for the welfare of your country and the stability of your country. They are not in position to support all these refugees and the nonsense which are being called by PCCA. What they are doing is just a hot air. It's just a hot air just to come and provoke the situation. And we know them, they used to say that our people of South Sudan, and which people are they talking about? Most of them, I know them. Most of them, I know them. If they say that our people, it's better for them to work there and donate the money, because now you see, you know, Kamara Bilu, in Upper Nile region, there is too much flooding. You go now to Unity State. These are the people who don't think. Do they say now, if they say our people are what about those who are there in Bentiu, who are being affected by flood? Are they not a part of these people? Are they not the South Sudanese? You go to the side of this side of JK, the side of Nasiri, side of Jazeera, Pangag, and what? There is a flooding in our country. Our country will have national disasters. Now, Jorol Mointuinwe is always working with the people from place to place. And then they are proclaiming they have a people. And what about those people who are there? Instead of them just to work and send a little money they will have. That one is the role of the citizen in the country. What they are doing is nonsense. What they are doing is rubbish. And I'm here to condemn them miserably that what you guys are doing, what they are doing is not healthy, and nobody wants this. That is why I told them last time, they are running after something. They are running after something. Abraham Cholawuli, he was looking for the position of undersecretary. After he failed miserably to get that position, he went and just unmasked. He went and formed the briefcase civic society, calling for the toppling of the government. And they don't know that. I used to tell them, there is a quote saying that the pleasure of commanding is more sweeter than sexual intercourse. Those who have a powers to command, they don't know that one, the meaning of the commanding. is more sweeter than sexual intercourse. And they want to know this. Let them just come. This is what I can advise to them. And what they are doing is not healthy for the people. And the only solution, and what I know so far, the goodness of this agreement to my people of South Sudan is for the people of South Sudan, all our leaders, to implement this peace agreement. After they implement this peace agreement, the people of South Sudan are going for the general election to go and choose, to go and elect the leaders of choice, regardless of wherever they're coming from, regardless of the political parties and so forth. This is the only solution. Even our people who are in the refugees camp, they're supposed to talk about the people. Now they're just sending some money, and now this government is very powerful. We identify those people who used to receive their money, and even those who are punning them. So what they are doing is mess. It's mess. It's unlawful. It's unconstitutional, and it will not even work. So now the 30 is very near. The 30 is very near. It's on Monday, and I wish if ringleaders of them come here to lead the people like the way John Garang did. John Garang was leading the people of South Sudan in the bush. He was mobilizing the people of South Sudan in the bush. He was there on the ground. And I don't know what is wrong with this group of the people. Nobody is even here on the ground. It's better for them to come here on ground and take the lead. They can lead, not someone who will remain behind and leave the followers to lead. That is why they call leaders. They can lead the people, taking the lead and let the followers follow them. Yes, instead of staying there in diaspora, launching the war against the psychological status of the people. It's not totally, this one is a crime, and they must to be condemned. So be look. So yesterday evening,
Yes.
yesterday evening, the group of the people, the people of South Sudan, even in the diaspora, you are there in the diaspora, people, they condemn the PCCA and all the community leaders, youth, civic society organization, they condemn them. Civic society organization are saying that this PCCA is not a part of our civic society organization, and we don't need the attitude, because in this peace agreement there are even the members of civic society who are signatories. They already signed the agreement. So as a government, we don't know who are the PCCA in agreement. They did not sign the agreement with us, and they are not even mandated. They are not even mandated to go and reach up to that extent. What they are supposed to do, they're supposed to go and register their bodies. After they register their body, let them try to approach the government. But now, they are not a part of the government. They did not even sign, but they are citizens of South Sudan. They have a right to talk as a citizen of South Sudan. What they are doing also is a crime. They form their bodies, and they claim that, we call for the popular uprising. What happened to Torin Montini in 1955? Did they success? What they are doing is more dangerous than what happened in Torin. They are different. These are the people who did not even do the assessment. They supposed to do the assessment. What will be the advantages and our country is miss? These people, as the disgruntled people and the self-centered people, they are selfish. They are selfish, and they are looking. They have different agendas, and we will not allow them. We will not allow them as a government. So thank you, my brother.
Yes, Comrade
Just join me so that
Min, I would like to pose some few
to
questions
appreciate
to
you, and also I appreciate the audience of Jiang Pada. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much too, Comrade Min.
Yeah.
But Comrade Min, before I let you go, I would like to ask you to brief us a little bit about the situation on the ground as we speak. Based on your knowledge or based on the intelligence of the government,
yeah, they look hello.
Where do you expect these protesters to come out according to your perception so far? Hello, Comrade Min, can you hear me? You hear me or not? Hello? I don't know whether people can hear me. Min, you cannot hear me. Hello, Min?
Belloc. No, I'm not getting you well. I did not get you well. You repeat.
Oh, okay. I was asking you a question. I don't know whether you hear me or not. Now
Yeah,
I can hear your voice.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, I was simply
what
asking
are you saying,
you a question. Can you brief us about the situation on the ground? What is your assessment of the situation on the ground? And where do you expect the protesters to come out to the street? I don't know. Welcome, Comrade Mijak Injalo, Internet.
كران ياو طبعا أنا كصعب شوية.
Ka yoga network be yoga ni en ping unan to ala TV ne chi en ping.
Yeah network ده كده تعبان شوية كده يعني.
network ne be jala to juba ai won.
Okay. خلاص عملوا خوش نشي ببنى كباين يال طوال على طول ممكن بيان تيم تكو بيبان يال لانه ينتظرن. في أفريقيا. Yeah. Ben خلاص. Go ahead with him.
Yeah, welcome back, Comrade Min. It's frozen again. So while we're waiting for him, Comrade Majak, you can go ahead and give us your perspective pertaining to the proposed popular arrest or popular protest by the PCCA. What is your stand or what is your position on this proposed protest?
No, يعني كبن يال ران كنا كبن يال كده خليه لأنه تافرقة يعني خليه
yeah frozen yeah froze ناسي جام ولا خلاص تعمل train إن كان ويجنوا لا train وبا جام وكمرن من جاب بن كمرن من
yeah خلاص من go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So, Bill, you asked me about the situation.
Yeah, the situation on the ground. I can the kid can accept.
Did you ask me about?
Koje jamule big bane chani big jan chani me it no na suspect big bane chani you bought or
my brother because the people of South. No.
Yeah, bro.
This one is this PCCA that are just operating on social media. It's just a hot air, and what they are doing, they are just sending the messages on social media, and they does not even know that our people of South Sudan, most of them they don't have smartphones, and most of them they don't have interest to read nonsense. What people of South Sudan are listening now is SSBC. This SSBC is talking about the implementation of the peace agreement and others important issues. Because this PCC is not an important issue to the people of South Sudan. People of South Sudan, they have learned. Now, our people in Unity State, there is a flooding, which is a national concern. The same in Greater Jonglei, and the same in Upper Nile region. These are the things which our people are focusing now. not this PCCA. This PCCA, these are the agents. These are the agents of the international community, most of them, those who have interests with them. Nobody is focusing about them. And that is why I usually told them that you guys, what you are doing, you launch the war against the psychological status of the people of South Sudan, and you will be held accountable for the virus you send on the mind of the people. They are just a group of the people who proclaim themselves and they name themselves with the different titles, like the United Citizen for Change. Which citizen? What are they want to change to the people of South Sudan? They are working there in the diaspora. If they want to change, let them donate. Let them send what they have. That is the change we want, not just to come and say that we want to change the government. Where? You know, Bilu, last time I say that the currency of the business is a currency, and the currency of the government is a power. And now the government have power already. Now what are they trying to tell us here? It's wrong. All the parties who signed this agreement, they are now working to deliver the services to the people of South Sudan. Second, we have the civic society group who signed this peace agreement. These are the people who have a right to talk here because they are signatories to the peace agreement. And this the so-called PCCA, the PCCA, and the United Citizens for Change, another name they assume. These are the people who just claim that they love the people of South Sudan. But in real sense, they have a hidden agenda. They just assume. That is why I told them that you guys, you need to borrow the knowledge with a good unit of analysis to see that what are the disadvantages and the advantages of the popular uprising to the country like South Sudan, not like the other world. Because you cannot compare the new nation with others a divine country, which is wrong. Whoever is thinking like that, you need to be lectured. You need to be lectured. You need to be correct. We have to inject him with a spirit of patriotism and a spirit of nationalism. We need to cultivate the good thinking capacity on them. This is what they want to know. So, thank you. You can give chance to my brother Majak to put his comment. The situation here is normal, my brother, and today is day 28. It's day 28 now, morning hour here. And we remain with the 2 days. Let them come.
Okay,
yes.
Comrade Min,
so I will invite those of them for later.
Is the government prepared?
I will invite them later. Those yeah. 2 days only now they remain. 2 days, because they say that 2 days after 2 days we are going to remove Salva Kiir or Young Machar. This is wrong. This is assumption. They just occupy their brain with assumption, and it is a false assumption, not a true assumption. You see, these false assumptions, they are not working here. You know, Bilu?
Yes.
Kamara Bilu, there is a quote saying, the flesh of commanding is more sweeter than sexual intercourse. If you have a power to command 10 people or 15 people, is more sweeter than sexual intercourse. So now, that is one too. And I told them also the currency of the business is a currency, and the currency of the government is a power. These people, at where? The only solution is just they will go and choose their leaders. This is the only solution, my brother Majak. When the people of South Sudan later in the future are going to elect their own leaders, the leaders of their choice, because all of them, they have their own vote. Let them come later to come and vote. They say that they don't need Salva Kiir. Let them come and vote him out. And if Salva Kiir is voted out by the people of South Sudan and he refuses in the leadership, even me, I cannot stand with him.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
You're right, yeah.
That means you respect the democratic right of the citizen of South Sudan, and that is what we want to see happen.
I cannot even support him, yes. If people of South Sudan yes, yeah.
So thank you very much, Comrade Min. I think you have an issue again with the network. Comrade Majak, Majak, it will be your turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say something.
You can.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mel, you done or?
Very good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mel.
I'm done. I'm
thank
done,
you,
my brother.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mel, and thank you. Anyway, let me go ahead. Taban, those days, the people they're talking about uprising. That's a big issue right now in the street of South Sudan, which is good. It's okay. Nobody can complain. The chapter of Sudan, they can uprise against their government. That is their right. They can uprise. But sometimes everybody see different way. You know, South Sudan right now, I'm not a politician guy. I'm not supporter of SPLA or SPLM. I'm not a supporter of those young. I'm not supporter of Silva Kiir or Riek Machar because they are a failure. They failed South Sudan. We are a citizen. I'm talking here like a citizen of South Sudan. I'm not belong to any party in South Sudan until now. I didn't see somebody defeat me, like change my mind to follow him from SPLA or from all of them. They are SPLA. I can say that. Kir, Riek Machar, Tabandeng, Waniga, Thomas Cirillo, Algan Mana for America, Kulum, they are all SPLM and SPLA. And they failure. They failure more than Tajib Sudan. First thing, they fail in security. There are no security in South Sudan. We have right, we are a citizen of South Sudan to uprise against them. The first thing, security. Indu mashara sana wala kam ma gadirin ya mulwa. Kafa kalam da, yani, I don't blame people. They want to uprise or they amal muzaharat or whatever they want to do, except to them. It's good. Like in the problem, my question here, the big thing here, we are South Sudanese. We are South Sudanese as citizens. We are like Arab Khartoum as citizen. We're not. We're not. We're very divided. We divide each other. We divided each other together. It's not a government. I cannot blame government for that. We are a citizen of South Sudan. We divided each other together. Who gonna go there and make uprising or go there to Muzaharat or Yamul Hajada? Ya to Gabila, Bimshi Hinak. And then Gabail Junub Sudan, we are different. We are not like Arab or Khartoum, Gabila. Khartoum, they are united. They don't have tribalism. Mindum Gabila, mindum Gabila. Kafa, I don't know. Muzaharat Bidla Kef, Hayadla Shuluk Barao, or Hayadla Nuer Barao, or Hayadla Denka Barao, or Hayadla Lokoro Barao, or Zandi Barao, or I don't know yet. Because we are a citizen of South Sudan, we are not united. We are a citizen. I'm talking about a citizen. The politician people, they unite right now. That's why you see Blue Nile or Blue J1 or how you call them? They are together right now. They laugh together. They eat together. They are in a hotel together. They are okay. But we are a citizen. We're not together. We mess up because, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, everybody point the finger to any Gabila. It's hot a little bit. Any Gabila, come on. Who's going to go out? Some people, they point the finger to Nuer. Some people, they point finger to Denka. Some people, they point finger to Shuluk. Some people, they point finger to Bari or Latuka. So who's going to go out there? We are South Sudanese citizens, we not unite. So I don't know. The people that's talking about uprising, I don't think so. It's going to be like red card last time. They say, well, we're going to go out and we're going to do this May 16 and we're going to do this. It's going to be same. It's not today. Don't scare, guys. Nobody going to come out. Whether you support them for SPLA or whatever, nobody going to go out. Because South Sudanese are citizens, they are not united. That's the main point. And I want to tell Hukuma, and I want to tell a citizen of South Sudan that just talking, we are not united. Who's going to come out? Nobody going to come out. Do Wahid. South Sudanese people, if we unite, we have finger to get out SPLA and SPLM. All of them, because they are failure. We have right for that. And they are failure. The crop, no security in Bellet, and so department, all this stuff, no schools, no health care, no shawara, all this stuff is real. Ma happen. They eating grush. We know that. If we unite, we are a citizen of South Sudan, we have a right to kick them out. We do. We really do. I wait for this time. But for me, I see South Sudanese, a citizen, you guys need to shilling and come down and just be a patient. Give those people chance for peace. It's okay. I think that's a cut shot for me. For me and Mijak, that is my opinion. It's a shortcut. They said it's 2020 to 2013. We're waiting for it. And here we are a citizen, we need to come and talk good too. We need to make aggressive. We need to make a lot of stuff to be together, to make sure we are together. We can kick all these giant out. It's called SPLA or SPLA. Number two, the people they said, I think they're thinking like, oh, we have national army. We don't have national army until now. Until the day we're talking now. We don't have national army yet. Nobody gonna protect you. We still have Silva Kiir army. We still have Riek Machar army. We still have Thomas Cirillo army. We still have Taban Dengai army. We still have one army. So who army gonna protect you? You are more than South Sudan. You are a citizen of South Sudan. Nobody gonna protect you. So don't blame yourself and don't be a blind for yourself. You're gonna get shot there and nobody gonna ask you. Right now, we have a lot of people, they shot them, non-gunmen. Who brought the case up? Nobody bring the case up. Mine in Miami, we don't have a lawyer, we don't have nothing. So even the whole city or whatever is happened, there are no case there. So I don't know South Sudanese what they're thinking. It's obviously, but South Sudanese is very, strong. The how you call it, the strong man, he can flip down the weak man. That's it. That's what is going on in South Sudan right now. So we need to believe on that. So I don't know South Sudanese what they're thinking. Billy, look, I think uprising is not a good time for now. But South Sudanese as citizens, they have right to uprise. But it's not a good time for now. My opinion, the cut short, just wait for 2023. That's good for peace. What they said, let's go and wait for them. If they make an election, we can vote. All this stuff is a hidden fear in our heart. We know it in our heart. The same thing like when we get out from Arab. 90%, 90% we get out from Arab, right? We get out from Arab because all this, in any child of South Sudanese, he know what Arab did to us. The same thing, we know right now as PLA how they feel, and we know it right now. It's our heart. When they come out and they want to vote, we want to vote Silva Kiir or Riek Machar, and I'm sure it's going to be another person. We're going to vote for them because we are tired from SPLA and SPLM. We're tired from them. I appreciate them. They make independent. They get South Sudanese out. We appreciate them. That's a great thing. We write it down and we give them the history for that. SPLA take this South Sudanese from Arab, from slavery from Arab. We know it. We cannot deny that. Including Kiir and including Riek Machar, including everybody. We cannot deny that. But what they did to us as citizens when we get out, we're not going to forget that one. So let's go give them a chance for us for election. If election is not happen, that is time we can make uprise. That is time we can make uprise. You look, you're gonna agree with me, and Lam, you're gonna agree with me, and everybody gonna agree with everybody. That time we can get, hey, you guys, we give you a chance, and you said we're gonna go to election, and you guys is still doing that. No peace and no what you guys promise us. Or I'm want to tell any politician party around in South Sudan, please, I am a citizen. I'm not a politician guy. I'm very a citizen guy. If you come here and you try to talk uprising or politician or kick the kid out, come on, man. Clean our head. What are you going to do to us? That's what we need. We need security. We need your vision. What are you going to do to South Sudan better than Salva Kiir and Riek Machar and others? What are you going to do to us? Talk to us. We listen to you. We are not stupid. We listen who going to bring the better to South Sudan. Any party, politician of South Sudan, read your note, bring your view, talk to social media, it's okay. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. We're going to fall in love with you. It's same thing like when you be tongdan monjang ita laman binya tut ma yinya tut be sa ita tkalam be kwez ma bit laman bidi hep kalamak خلاص ita بتكون كويس معهم. You see? So that is the problem. So there are no party. There are no party in South Sudan. Checkers يعني بشكل المواطن بتاع جنوب السودان ما في أي حاجة ماشي بقوة. أنت تعال في جنوب السودان كلم بكلامك. What are you going to do in South Sudan? And what are you going to do? And we're going to follow. We don't care where you come from. You جنب بتاع South Sudan, that's deep. يا هو آخر حاجة. أنت كان من شلوك ولا من نوير ولا من زاندي ولا بلندا ولا whatever. خاص الموقف بتاع جنوب السودان. أنا بعمل الكلام ده أساس زي مثلا زي توماس شيريلو يجي يتكلم لمواطن بتاع الجنوبيين. يا أخي أنا داير أعمل الكلام ده وأنا داير أعمل الكلام ده. سيلفا كير ما داير أعمل الكلام ده. عشان كده أنا بختلف معه وأنا داير أعمل الكلام ده. I can agree with him. I'm going to be agree with him. Look, you're going to agree with him. And we're going to support him. Because he bring his plan in the table. The table is more than the Sudan. But if he cannot do that, how are we going to do that? How are we going to listen to him? That is the problem in South Sudan right now. So any party بيعمل نفسه وانا داير اعمل يعني داير شاكل بس بطلقه. لكن طلقه ما بيحل الناس. الطلقه اللي بضر منه هو قلنا الفاct the war is a South Sudanese citizen. The first people gonna affecting of the war is South Sudanese people. That is the problem. So that's what I'm gonna say. Shukran Bill Luke and Shukran my brother. That's my point right there. I don't like the whole SPLM or SPLM, but the South Sudanese citizens, they have a right to uprise. It's okay. But if they uprise and they change Salva Kiir or Riek Machar right now, who is the party gonna come out and release those people and come out and do the good thing in South Sudan? That's my question too. And those people, they don't doing well even. I think if those guys they get out, they're going to be worse and worse. It's going to be worse too.
And that is that's why we are opposed to the
like Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, Laman Karajwala, Mubarak. They're getting worse.
That's why Libya collapsed, isn't it?
Exactly. Libya collapsed, Egyptian collapsed, Tunisia they collapsed, and all of them they collapsed down. But that is not my point. My point, I need the best politician or party come out and put his plan in the table and tell the South Sudanese people, hey, I'm going to do this better than Salva Kiir or SPLA and SPLA. I'm going to do this better than them. And those people, I see them lost those days. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't think so. It's better Riek Machar stay there and better Kir stay there. That's what I see.
Yep.
So thank you very much, guys. And my point,
Thank you.
I hope you guys get my point.
Absolutely, we got your point, Comrade Mijak. You did a very wonderful job, and I believe your position and my position and the position of Comrade Min is the same. So we all agree, three of us. We don't want this protest because of the consequences we see. The consequences are more severe if we allowed it to happen. But these people who are actually advocating for the violent uprising and the removal of the government by force, they do not see this coming. They do not look at it. They do not look at the consequences of what will happen to the people. And that is why we are telling them, ladies and gentlemen, this is more dangerous to the life of our innocent people as well as their property. So why should we want to lose more lives when in fact we can just save the life? Let's support this peace agreement and let's push for the conduct of the general election. So when general election come, you are going to elect your next president, because we want to transfer the power in a peaceful way. We want to give the next president the mandate of the people. Then to take the leadership by force, then you expect yourself to be in that position. No, this is South Sudan. For instance, Comrade Min or Comrade Majak, if you take the power today, I think somebody else will not allow you to sit in that presidential seat. They will still come after you, and they will remove you by force. And then the cycle of Biden will go around like that. You know, our people are shallow-minded, and they do not look at this very critically, that we are concerned about the potential consequences that may come. Should this protest, or should they be successful in removing that government, the very same government will turn around and will fight those groups. Imagine, there are so many rebels out there in the jungle or in the bush of South Sudan. They are looking for the same presidential seat. So when these citizens are going to go to the street, the rebels who are opposed to the peace agreement will launch military offensive, and they will fire or attack all these towns where the protest is going to take place. This is a matter of security concern, let alone the fact that the politicians are going to scramble for this position. They will be fighting over it. So every other group will attack the other group. And you have said it very well, that we are not united. We are not even civilized like other countries.
I'm not going to cut you off. I forget something
in Egypt.
Yeah, really, look, I'm not going to. Forget something. Like what you said a while ago. Like, okay, for example, right now, as fairly the J1, they said we're not going to intervene to the problem of Riek Machar and the other guy. What his name? Garwidwal. And yeah, they're not going to. Okay, Garwidwal, if it attack Malakal or Arang or whatever, he's not gonna intervene. If he doesn't intervene, so why you need that president?
I think what they were trying to say is that they do not want to interfere in the internal fights of the SPLAIO forces. That is what they were actually alluding to, because they kind of consider that as an internal issue of that particular faction, and so they didn't want to involve. But the way I perceive that is not even correct, because Riek Machar is the peace partner, and the very same people fighting Dr. Riek Machar, they are also a threat to the national government of South Sudan, not just Dr. Riek Machar, and that's the way I perceive it.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, like, okay, right now, if the Garwij Dual, if he attack any area in South Sudan, and any area right now in South Sudan, they have SPLA, they have a division there. if they attack the civilian and SPLA they didn't intervene, that is going to be a big problem too to SPLA. The guiding folk there, as Self-Care for Mortinin.
And the agenda of General Garwitwal is very clear. They say they have just formed a new revolutionary rebel that is ready to launch military offensive anytime against the government of South Sudan. Not against Dr. Riek Machar, because Dr. Riek Machar has no own government. He doesn't have his own government. It is the very same government. That's why we call it National Unity Government of South Sudan. So any rebel that is against the revitalized peace agreement is a threat to all of them. And that is what we have been advocating for the last 2 weeks. We talk about it, you know.
That
so
is
they have to support themselves.
Problem for a statement from SPLA, from Self-Care. That is the problem. He don't care about more a citizen of South Sudan. He say, I'm not going to intervene for this, but those people, they're going to go. They're going to mess up. They're going to mess up right there. They're going to mess up in like Managasi, or how you call it? Maganis or Maganis. Few Mortonin. Why he don't intervene to protect those Mortonin? This war is going to go to Bantu. Maybe he's going to go to anywhere. He's going to go to Fashoda. He's going to go to Falui. He's going to go to Arang. He's going to go to Rueng. This war is going to go on and on. And all this, they have
not only that.
And he said, I'm not going to intervene for their problem. If you don't intervene, the South Sudanese citizens are going to die. In Bantu, they're going to die. In Ler, they're going to die. In Rueng, they're going to die. In Malakala, they're going to die. Everywhere, they're going to die. A citizen. So how I'm going to expect that president? It's same thing like what he said last time. Hey, man, if you guys fight there, I'll be good. My one of the same thing. Like it's the same statement what I heard last week. So I don't know, man.
Self-Care is too. Thank you, Comrade Majak. Good your call, 10. Good your web and live by then in the afternoon, Saturday.
All right.
We are in the middle all the way to continue down that.
All right, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
3 hours. So in the late, but yeah, even the Wally, every show down in words, even I get because in the analysis. Even analysis in kilo, you can get position. My any common sense. I can't buy Tanyal when a Hukuma Tanyal man, look lower down. I think they will like quite care to all, but the determined. Get it. Imagine in really rather than a kind of take Bila, never going.
Right.
Kuna jang again wele kolo yanti lo bani ya gwata wa fium da ke mene jien ko go lo toji imane ke ko lo ngene ngi tija we mene jien wele mi akule lo toji ta chi mene do o chi gami chi mene no chi fale chi mene budang chi lo kwa bi wele yen indi pi de ba le so yi ra na nyale nchi fale bani tongero okay e mane ne ran ya kre PCCA kene je lo ko yen jala nya kade ko to within that o man ko yere man ti mi yari de bani abi no na jël ti bani dara ka wende ayalla within the judge even that ade ko to ti
even ya luka
e rebel cha be lu
yeah even ya luka even ya luka yeah even ya
kade amate to nga ngago faale ni to
akira amfele ya dawan even Self-Care do rejay ku be kat ku leke wakat Self-Care ke Riek Machar. What do you see? Self-Care right now, if they run with Riek Machar again and somebody lose, they're going to be the same thing fighting. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
It's going to be fighting. Even 2013, if Self-Care run with Riek Machar and they fight each other, I mean, like they'll go to election. It's gonna be the fighting gonna be happen. If Riek Machar lose again, the fighting gonna be happen again. If Self-Care lose, that fight is not going to be happen, because we know ourselves. We yani nas bita yani bugulo monjanga, they're not going to fight. They're not going to do the same thing like the others. They're not going to do it. But if you know this bugulo junuda al kura fi medan, the ball in the stadium with who? Silva Kir and Riek Machar. You want to shoot it out, shoot it out. You want to shoot it to the goal, shoot it to the goal. So my respect to Silva Kir and Riek Machar, if they resign, they're not gonna go, hey man, we're not gonna do this no more. It's gonna be better. Absolutely. They're gonna save South Sudan, and the other politician guy, the new people, they're gonna come and we're gonna give them pressure, and the pressure is there already. They can listen, like you right now, for example. Maybe you politician, or me, I'm politician guy, and I listen to South Sudanese a lot, and what the pressure in SPLA and SPLM. When I come in, I know what the South Sudanese citizens need and their pressure. You know what I mean? You know it. Yeah, so you're not going to do the same thing that Riek Machar and Kir did it again. So you're going to change something. You're going to do something else. Because you know, if you do the same thing, you're going to get into pressure again, and you're going to get out. Same thing. So that's what I try to see, like the ball in the stadium of Riek Machar and Silva Kir. They need to leave that stadium and go away peaceful. Sometimes I agree with people, just leave. Just leave. It's going to be peaceful. Kir and Riek Machar, just leave politician of South Sudan at all. Leave. Go. I think that is going to be peaceful. If they listen, it's going to be peaceful in South Sudan. I don't know. They don't think about South Sudanese meaning. What the Martin because of social media, they're supposed to listen to that. They're supposed to feel what those people they mean. Just leave and go home and get out. And we're going to give. They have credit. We give them credit because they independent us from North Sudan to they fight. Especially Silva Kir, he fight a lot. He never betray South Sudan, SPLA. So we give them credit. And just leave and go home and live your life. And they got enough money already. They got it. They got enough money. They can live until bigger things are. They have it. So what they need again? And I don't need people to post them out by posts. It's not right too.
Right.
Yeah, that is the problem. So Akiba Agisa da like uprising is not a good time for a citizen right now. It's not a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's not a good time. If we are a citizen, we need a cut short. Just wait for 2023 or 2024, 2023 for election. It's okay. It is South Sudanese. You can vote. You're free to vote whatever you want to get and kick them out. I think they're not going to be Silva Kir and Riek Machar alone. They're going to come out. I think they're going to be more than the other guys. They're going to be new faces. So when the new faces coming, that's where we're going to get the chance. Kick them out together and just vote for the whole new faces. Absolutely. And that time we kick them out by election, right? And no war, no blood, nothing. That's it. But if they're doing that right now, I don't think so, because uprising is peaceful. If they go out peaceful, But South Sudanese is not like Khartoum or Egypt or whatever, or Ethiopia, even Ethiopia. We're not like that. We are totally different country, totally different, separate tribe. And we hate each other. We don't like each other. We have war each other. We have tribalism. يعني إننا قبلية حرب قبلية زار بكلام ولا بتصلاح. We have it. People, they need to accept that. So how are we going to be united and kick those people out? And those people, they unite. They sit together right now. They eat together. They sit together. They laugh together. But we are South Sudanese people, especially in diaspora, we're not united. So I don't know how the people are going to go out there and fight. Who's going to go there? You know it. You the one going to be victim.
Rana yin nga ka yin nga ka ina ba ko
Yeah. It's same thing.
Yin go mi kruwen go le we ko ruwen le kan ye chin ko ko me be to no no ya ka na le che ga le chi lo cha no che ra.
Okay, you said that the same thing like that because why? You know what is going on in the street. The Martian government, Ashan fi gabliyat, fi mashakal Ashan you want to stop your section.
Yeah. Ma ka taw ka ni jo ko bin ko goti. Kuna de ran chen jo de le jo queen. Am cha ka ne. Lekin ga yo ko je ko padang chup de. Coi quả re ro ga gut ko khoti ade ga chi ku ting ro ke ga lak na man ga ting ne die ga jam ba re
ya ma nge ke ma ke rang de ma ke rang ke ka ye rang lo pushka ange ke la no ke ga ange
ke na ke la ki ni they don't trust it ange ke lo la ke jeng na lo ke de ne ki chi jeng na de jeng na ni nam na ting ga ja no ko lo cha ba ke to tin ne ke ni chi ke ting rang ga ke de
ya ma kene kilo
ke wani yi wo a chi jam ti ke ki age ni ki ni ne are ga lo okay let them do it ko bu ke yok ti
yeah
okay ki ne lo cha na to
ma ene mushkil ka ma ene ma shankira nan lagin who gonna go out there a shuluk wala nwer wala monjang wala whatever who gonna go out there nobody
so lo ke di chu lu ka bi la ji la jen ko le ni te ke fioria de ke de ne ko yin e sa be e tin de ke gem ti man chin dai show de dai
ma al mushkila
de ran ki de jonko ko ko lu ke ta ne ke ko ne IDP so bi ke ne ko lu demonstrate lakini ne je to ne won ke je ku mo to ti ti ra ne ban bi ene be ke ya ke ko wo ji ke yo ne ke ga be nyin yo to lakini ai chi bi cha ba ne cha na cái mình biết cái lôi ôi đến như thế mà nó có thể đến cái đai lôi ôi gì cái mình thôi nó thế nó bên thiếu chi cái phình để coi chứ giờ lai nó cầm thôi giúp giờ lai nó cầm thôi mà là khác giáo ơn còn thôi cái mà trên được chứ abu giờ thì cái này giờ lui ra rồi
ya ma kullu yomen bas ya bara ya tin ngalo rat ya lakin adan sai
so ko na ne ko ba won ti ne ba ti ko le ya le ko ga ya thôi na grau na tin wa đi ma yin dai lu kuma ina access mana ye loyi eto no ne tin bi ko ben chana eto no ne
I don't think so
you know opinion ko je goti ataru ga no yake this is the observation goti when human intelligence
asma let me tell you something ma ka wo mo yen I mean we are South Sudanese a diaspora we make it a big thing. Like if you Sudan, nobody nobody care about what are you saying? Like we are diaspora here and then Tabani Yaokida. We cannot sleep about it because we're eating and we're sleeping and air condition is on and light is on. Like in people there, they don't care. They don't care about it. The main thing South Sudanese people, yani fi Junub Sudan, they wanted just security. That is the first priority they need. Security. That's what they need. Only. They don't care about whatever you guys saying or what the government saying. If you secure somebody, you see South Sudanese, more than South Sudanese are more than very simple as citizen. Just they need security. Just security. And just security. The whole South Sudan. Non-gunmen, nothing all this. South Sudan is going to be all right. Silver Kir can got 100 years, nobody going to care about it. While Riek Machar got 100 years, nobody going to care about it if they have security. But they are stupid. They don't listen. What South Sudan need? South Sudan is a citizen, the real citizen in South Sudan right there. They need security. That's the only they want. They don't care what the money you get it from. You know, go farm in your backyard. Nobody gonna kill you. You good. Nobody gonna care about you. That's what the South Sudanese need. But the problem is
thank you.
The government, they don't listen. And they don't care, pay attention for it. Okay, halas, you better follow them.
Yeah.
All right. All right, man. Halas, yeah.
So, in Bagat, I will let you know.
Okay, go take it now. Yeah, sometimes we are busy. We are why not watch Facebook there sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you know, yeah.
Okay, good.
Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, anytime. Feel free, call me. Call and we can talk.
No, I see town now. But you're very low body.
Okay, halas. I see mushkila. Okay, go ahead.
Have a good night.
All right, man. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Program has come for you.
الشعب بنموت ساعة السمنة عشان القبلية بنموت ساعة السمنة عشان الكوربشن
All right, ladies and gentlemen, program has come to an end. Time for me to go to sleep. See you again. Okay? See you guys. Never get you. So see you later again.